So basically, what does self-reliance breed? In this modern world, it's all about self-reliance, basically. So people get conditioned to believe that being self-sufficient is a strength and that relying on other people is a weakness. This mindset obviously creates an imbalance, resulting in individuals who are always there for others, but find it difficult to let others be there for them, okay? And we all know those types of people, okay? I grew up with them. My mum is one of them. She gives of herself to the death, and my dad, my whole whānau, you know, we grew up big Māori whānau, basically exhausting our resources to strangers, okay? We welcome strangers onto our marae, onto our land. We feed them, we're hospitable to them, we sing songs to them. You know, this type of hospitality is prevalent in our culture, at least, you know, the way I grew up. But so I know what it's like you feel awkward when you receive gifts, compliments, or help from somebody else. I've had to struggle with it all my life and actually realize that no, part of true love is reciprocation, and having relationships that do reciprocate that type of gesture that you are giving is so important. So how do we repair this break, okay? How do we learn to rely on others again and foster more balanced relationships? Because that's what's really important. That's what's going to keep us together as a society, as a family, and as a unit, whatever that unit might be. It could be a basketball team. You can apply this to anything. Firstly, we need to change our perspective on vulnerability, because there is so much strength in vulnerability, and if you don't have a place to share vulnerability, then join our community, okay? It's free for 30 days, you get a meal plan with it, it's all online, you're talking to strangers, so you know, you don't have to be worried about being triggered by your family members or people that really know you well. You get a fresh slate, you get to start fresh and clean, okay? So fresh and so clean. So your perspective on vulnerability needs to change. There is total strength in vulnerability. To rely on others, we need to show our vulnerabilities, and we need to express when we are in need of that support. So obviously that's sharing our fears, concerns, difficulties. It doesn't mean you're weak. In fact, it means you're weak when you are unable to share. It means you're weak in support, okay? It means you don't have the necessary support to have a meaningful, fully, purposefully, you know, full of motivation, full of life, full of meaning, full of purpose, that type of life. If you don't have that type of life and you're struggling, you're anxious, you're depressed, your life is void of meaning, then you need to learn how to be vulnerable again. You need to get into a space where people rely on you and you rely on them, okay? So when we are in need of support, we need to have a place that we can share our fears, our concerns, and it needs to be met with reciprocity. If you don't have that in your life, you're failing, unfortunately. You can try all you like to exhaust yourself, but you're just going to become exhausted and you're going to fall over. Secondly, it's crucial to communicate. How do you express? You express your needs clearly through communication. They say communication is the key to successful relationships, okay? It really is. You got to remember that just as we extend ourselves to help others, we need to allow a space for others to reciprocate and extend their gratitude or appreciation or whatever it is. The same rule must apply to us. If you cut yourself off from that reciprocation, then you don't receive the benefits and the gifts of other people loving on you, okay? Thirdly, you got to, once again, the reciprocation, especially for those hardcore self-reliant peeps, or at least, you know, exhaustion peeps that exhaust themselves in their resources, their mind, their strength, and they give it to others, which is wonderful, but you've got to ensure that you are getting it back. If you're not getting it back, you're going to fail, you're going to fall over. So if you've been the reliable one in relationships or whatever, you know, for a long time, you might find it's hard to step back and let someone else take the reins. So really it's a question of control at that point, and you need to learn to let yourself go and put yourself in the hands of other people that love you. Of course, you don't allow yourself to be controlled by other people who want to dominate you and treat you with disrespect and dishonor, okay? But you need to let go of control. Relying on others means entrusting them with tasks and responsibilities, and you have to believe that their abilities are sufficient. They've got their own way of doing things as well, so you also have to allow them to express their way of showing love. So this can be difficult, This can be very difficult when we've been living in a world of pain where everybody's about self-serving and self-love and self-promotion, and it's all about the self. In a world full of selves, it's very difficult to believe, and it's very difficult to let the reins go. Basically, it's very difficult to let the reins go because for so long the world has proven that they are unreliable, unworthy of your, you know what I'm saying. So the thing is, though, is that if you want to continue in a manner that is going to bring about fragmentation, the opposite of togetherness, the opposite of unity, the opposite of oneness, the opposite of fulfillment, then, you know, carry on the way we've been doing things would be my message, but it's not. Okay, it's not. So you have to make some mind shifts. You have to make some emotional shifts if you really want to significantly affect your relationships. So I hope those tips helped. I hope that sort of gave you a little bit of insight. It's not exhaustive by any stretch of the imagination. I've got tons of other tips, but I have to now give my life to my future wife, to the love of my life. But look, leaning on others can give us more balance. It can strengthen us. It can strengthen the chains of love and relationship. It can help us to embrace the fundamental aspect of human nature and foster those relationships that are not just about giving, but it's also about receiving. So something to think about, okay? If you are a giver, you need to start receiving. If you don't have a two-way street, there is not a reciprocal nature in the relationships that you are experiencing, you will continue to come up against the issue that we're facing, okay? Which is exhaustion, depression, your life is void of meaning and purpose. And the way to fill your life with meaning and purpose is basically to fill your life with other people who agree with reciprocal love. There's no other way. Peace!